All right, today we're going to touch on the directorial debut of Leonard Nimoy, talking about Star Trek: The Search for Spock. Leonard Nimoy takes a stab at his first attempt. Let's say he does a pretty good job with Search for Spock. It does very well. So this movie takes place right after Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. The Starfleet is trying to contain the Genesis project because while it can create life, it can also destroy it. We find out it's unstable. The idea continues with the main themes of the first three movies of Star Trek: mortality, creation, and whether man should be playing God. The whole God thing, divine being, is one of the things that really plays into these first three movies. With the first one, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, we have the Viking Voyager returning home to Earth, looking for its creator. Turns out it's man type of things, doing all this information for it. Two, we have the creation of Genesis to create life. And three, we find out that man cannot play God. If it does create life, there's always some kind of what man touches. It seems like there's some kind of what's the word? Some kind of distortion. Man, it's right there. Distortion of it. Some kind of flaw, right? Let's put it that way. Flaw that causes havoc, and that's basically what we're finding out here in those first three movies, and with The Search of Spock. So this movie does lean heavily into that Spock represents the idea of the eternal soul, while Genesis represents artificial creation. And what we see that is Genesis is flawed, it creates life, but it's unstable and ultimately destroys itself. The message is pretty clear. Man can't create life property, and trying to play God leads to corruption. That's what I was trying to find. Word corruption here. I should have stick to my script, right? Another theme that carries over is sacrifice. In the previous movie, Spock sacrificed himself for the crew. Here, good old Captain Kirk's son, he sacrifices himself to protect his comrades. It's kind of sad, you create this whole, Cockman Kirk has a family thing, and then you kind of destroy it in the next movie. Can our heroes have happy endings? What is this stuff? We're even back then, you can't give your hero a happy ending, I guess. We also see aging as a theme again, not just for humans, but for the spaceship itself. The Enterprise is being decommissioned. They want to get rid of it, and then because it's getting antique, getting outdated. Kirk and the crew, they still have to find out what's going on with Genesis. In the end, spoiler alert, they kind of destroyed the Enterprise out with the old and with the new, so they kind of did what the Starfleet wanted to do in the first place. The main conflicts comes from the Klingons, led by Krug, or whatever, Kruge, I don't know. Anyways, it's played by Christopher Lloyd. I didn't know Christopher Lloyd was in Star Trek. I found out 3 or 4 years ago, right? Up to 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't realize he was in Star Trek because you can't really recognize him as a Klingon. Only thing that's recognizable about him is his voice. And let's say Christopher Lloyd does a pretty good job playing a villain. He's a good job in this movie as the villain. And then when you watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, he's the villain in that movie, and he does it well. He's a good villain character. Growing up, I first saw him as Doc in Back to the Future as Doc Brown. So I thought that's how I thought he looked until I saw Suburban Commando and the Dream Team with Michael Keaton, and I was like, oh, I guess he was just wearing makeup. Well, as a kid, you don't realize there's such things as movie magic. Makeup. Anyways, get back to the movie. The Klingons are a bit underused in this movie. They're more of an obstacle than a fully developed threat. They move the plot forward, but they're not deeply explored. The movie also focuses on the crew coming back together, while the main characters are there used more as a unit than as individual standouts. You get moments from Kirk, McCoy, Scotty, and Sulu, but it's really about the group working together. You see Sulu kicking some rear end in this movie, man. He kicks some butt. Anyways, he's pretty good hand-to-hand combat, I guess, because he's a long descendant of Bruce Lee, right? And that's the main story, recovering Spock's body and returning to Vulcan. Because of what happened in the previous movie, his consciousness, or Katra, was preserved, and Genesis essentially regenerates his body. So it's not just a resurrection, it's a combination of science and Vulcan spirituality coming together. I guess you could kind of put that in today's philosophy, you know, or some people's philosophy. Science is to support religion, the spiritual, the spirits, the soul. Visually, the movie looked solid for its time. The sets, the costumes are good. Though you can tell a lot of it's shot on sound stages, especially when they're on the planets. The effects are used sparingly but effectively, and that's how I like special effects to be used in my movies. Sometimes they use so much you can see this is like a 2D movie. Might as well made it an animation. After we watched it, I can see why it's not as memorable as the others. It's a good movie, but it feels more like a bridge between the Wrath of Khan and what comes next. Overall, it continues the themes of the series well: mortality, sacrifice, and the limits of creation. But it doesn't quite have the same impact as the movie before. For me, it's a good movie. I think Leonard Nimoy did great. Directed it. It looks visually great. The shots are fantastic, and the direction and the writing is good. I don't know, not that really into it. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. My favorite one is Wrath of Khan because it's more action packed a little bit. Star Trek always kind of focuses more philosophical stuff. How can we work together? Be more unified in our beliefs, and sometimes, you know, depending on what your beliefs are, it could be either good or bad. You know, just look at our own human history. The Aztecs are very unified in their beliefs, and look how all the stuff that they did. I wouldn't want to live in that kind of society. But then you got other societies where everybody's working together. Think of was it Enoch, the city of Enoch, that got raised up because they were so pure and good. Anyways, enough of that stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Have you seen The Search for Spock? Do you like it? Where you place it in your Star Trek movies? Is it one of the best? One of the worst? Or is it blah in the middle? Let me know. And did you like Leonard Nimoy's direction of the movie? Hopefully you enjoy this. And until next time, adios.